Hello, I'm Nora Hutto, and this is my husband and partner, Rodney Hutto. Our topic for today is what do I want to be?
One of the most important things that a child can decide during their lifetime is what they want to be so that they'll be satisfied with their vocation when they grow up. But so many of the children, they only see the things that they see on TV. They see firemen, they see police officers, they see Power Rangers, they see all sorts of things like that. But do they really understand what any of these things are? Do the parents of these children, do they take them around to job sites and show them what they're doing? Do they show them how important that the use of rulers or numbers is as far as an occupation? How do these children know what they possibly want to be? How much exposure do they have? When I first was superintendent, one of the things that I saw, or one of the programs that we looked at, we were in an area where there were a number of chemical plants. And anyway, but there was very little interaction between the chemical plants and the school districts. And so none of the children knew anything about it, although their fathers worked there. They had no idea of what was going on at the plants. So we began a program with the plant management of several of the different plants to where that they would come in and talk about what the job positions were in their facility. We even went, they even went so far as to set up a shop in our vocational agricultural shop. They came out and lined it, and every Friday they would have full-time professional employees come and spend the day with our students in that lab setting. So it's very, very important, not only from the standpoint of the child being fulfilled as they go on, also from the standpoint of trying to provide enough employees for, or enough skilled craftsmen for different positions. For instance, they had a welding position at one of the chemical plants, and they interviewed or they tried out over 200 different people before they found one that would meet the criteria that they needed. And that was the reason they were interested in coming into our school and setting it up so that they could teach the kids how to do what they were needing at the plant, and having a guiding hand of a master show them how that they wanted it done so that they would be highly employable when they finished.
Since this is such an important decision in an individual's life, you would think within the education literature there would be some really great research. I found very little research done on career choice or career training. What I did find was directly related to the role of gender, boys and girls, how competitive boys are versus girls, the socialization of boys and girls. It's different if they're raised in a patriarchal society or a matriarchal society. But still, within the literature, there is little that is being documented about what we're doing within schools as far as career readiness.
A number of our schools, our K through 12 schools, now they've developed some of the larger areas that have quite a bit of money and quite a bit of opportunity. They have developed vocational schools to where that they can train different types of jobs, and they hire specialists to come in and teach at those schools. And it's very, very important. I know one particular school, they have one of their vocational programs is baking. And so they had a chef that would come in, and those kids that were interested in going into the restaurant and food service business, they taught them how to do and how to work in a commercial setting. So there's all sorts of on the job training and internships that are available after the child gets up to where that they're a little more mature.
So, this is such an important point because when we look at the literature and what's being written up from an educational standpoint, if students are thinking about their careers, it has direct implication upon what classes they're going to take. We find that boys and girls are virtually the same as far as competitiveness, willingness to learn, until the differences begin to show at about the age of 7. And then by the age of 15, girls become more reticent. They engage in fewer competitive activities. They will self select out. where boys will choose to be a part of a competitive event.
Society is changing in its belief as to what's expected. When I was growing up, my father told me that the only way that you can possibly succeed is to get an education. And there was never a question as to whether or not I went to college. It was just an expectation. But with the cost of going to the university and with the amount of inflation and all these things that have happened over the last few years, you need to reassess how much does a plumber make in a year versus a school teacher or versus an art critic or a journalism major or something like that. What, how much do these people make? How much does a carpenter make? How much does an airplane pilot make? All of these things are not like a college degree where you get a college degree, then you're guaranteed of a particular salary. My father always said that education does not guarantee you anything, but it gives you options.
So we found in matriarchal societies, girls remain competitive throughout their lifetime, but matriarchal societies are not typically Western society. The implications for this are indeed in seventh grade. It's going to affect the choices that I make as a student. Am I taking more math or more science? When girls take more math and science, they do equally as well as boys. It becomes a self selecting process, but the decisions they're making in junior high and high school affect them for the rest of their lives.
And a lot of the jobs that are available nowadays, at one time they were stereotyped to where that, oh, you can't do that because you're a male or you can't do that because you're a female. And now then there's been so much retraining and job crossover that you find males and females in virtually every job that there is.
We have that within our own household, quite truthfully. And the salary difference, it's virtually the same today, which is a good thing. Some of the best information out there is on the internet about careers and job choices and selection processes and benefits. I provided the link here because this was just superb. You were allowed to type in the career and then it gave you all the information that you needed to know.
And looking into careers now, this is a big responsibility for the counselors when you're getting into secondary school. The counselor should provide some opportunity or some aptitude tests or different things like this to point them uh, and they used to have the old ASFAB with the military to see what you were most uh, geared toward. But it's very important that you talk about these things and have some heads up so that and go and visit and see some of these people where there are some of these jobs in operation. You may not want all the jobs. I mean, one of the interesting things on TV is jobs that people hate. This guy has made a fortune just going around and filming jobs that most people don't think they want to do. But he's made a veritable fortune, but he's also exposed the American public to an awful lot of different vocations out there that we don't normally think of.
So, implications for our career choices are huge. There's a great deal of vocational training, retraining being done right now as a result of America for the last 6 months. A university on the East Coast has just received billions of dollars to train across America for job retraining, and it came in through the School of Business.
One of the things about the training is that you now have vocational schools, and each different state has a different setup on it. Oklahoma, for instance, has a statewide vocational training. Texas has a statewide vocational schools that are available. That these are specialists that they do specific things, and they do all of the people when they finish, they can go out and get a job. The person that does air conditioning and electrical work for us, he went to school, a vocational school, to learn body shop and painting, and he ended up getting his certification in electricity and in heating and air conditioning. And he makes more money than either of his two brothers who are engineers.
And so that's a point well made. While we believe in arts, the fine arts, liberal arts education. Vocational training has great benefits for lots of people. Dr. Hutto and I both have vocational degrees. Our daughter has a liberal arts degree and a vocational degree. They can work hand in hand, but school districts have to guide young minds as they're getting ready for their careers of the future. We'll be glad to take any questions. Is there anything else, Dr. Hutto, you would like to add? We'll be glad to take your questions.